FA presents The Inner Circle.
And away we go!
Starring Coach Ant and Coach Rel.
So,
this is the last topic of conversation. What is your perspective on a woman's duty for children?
What do you mean? Their duty?
Are women expected? Do women have a duty to have kids for society?
No.
No.
All right. Why do you say that?
Because everybody's not meant to be a mom.
Or wants to be.
Yeah.
There's that too.
And if you don't want to be, that means that you're just not meant. Because if you don't want to be, then that means that you're not going to give it your all because you didn't want it to begin with.
Have you noticed any trends with this generation of up-and-coming women when it comes to being mothers?
Being a mom is a trend, especially where I come from.
I was just about to say that.
I don't know what you guys' experience is, and obviously y'all gonna share that, but I feel like I got both sides of the fence. I'm from the inner city, but I lived over here in the suburbs. You don't see that in the suburbs, and if you do, it's covered up with abortions and
Plan B.
Yeah, Plan Bs and that kind of stuff because, and I've witnessed this where white parents will tell you're not having that baby. You're not having that baby. Do you know what everybody's going to say about us in this town? You're not having it. And it's, from my experience, going to school with predominantly white people and having these essentially forced friendships with them.
Wait, why you say it's forced friendship?
Because when I came to Shawnee, I already had a bad taste in my mouth and I carried a chip on my shoulder when it came to white people. Because, like I said, they calling me porch monkeys. They how much drugs your dad? Who said my dad sold drugs? Like, why are we assuming these things? So I already had a chip on my shoulder, and to the point that when these students did this, the staff, like the vice principal, Mr. Corley, he allowed it to happen.
Yeah.
He allowed it to happen. When my mom told me to go to school and do what I had to do, my friends from Camden pulled up and we showed out. They pulled dogs out on us. They literally pulled dogs out on us. So it's like, would y'all have used this level of force if it was a white student? Do you get what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, we freshmen, we still kids.
Right.
Why are y'all pulling dogs out?
Yeah.
Y'all are grown people.
Yeah.
Go get the football coach.
Right,
He could break it up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like,
I think it's also just like frustrating though that it had to get to that point where no one was doing anything. So like to protect yourself, you brought your friends in and
you're violent.
to offended yourself.
and I was waiting for that moment. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
I was waiting for it. I couldn't wait because I was already defending myself, but it was like, now I gotta defend myself for defending myself. Like, they started it. And so when I got to Shawnee, there was already a chip on my shoulder. Then 2 weeks into going and being at Shawnee, I'm standing in the lunch line again, minding my business. And somebody throws a nugget at me and calls me the N-word. So now it's like, now I don't like y'all. So it's, what was my point?
So originally he asked like the single mother, like what you asked?
So I asked,
Is it our obligation?
is a woman's obligation
To have kids.
to have kids?
That was the original.
The original question?
Yeah, and then you said because of where you from.
Yeah. Okay. So there is very different. So there's an indoctrination that I've noticed, in my opinion, in white families where the women are taught to submit. They are taught, for the most part. Obviously, this don't apply to Maddie because she's very outspoken.
Maddie was at the barbecue.
She's the exception.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't speak the way she speaks with that level of, I'm not playing, and I don't care how y'all feel about it. They will be quiet. That's why they say, and we talked about this last time, where it's like black women are we nag too much or whatever the case may be, and white women, they submit to their man. They're quiet. They don't argue. There's an indoctrination there where it's like white women are not allowed to do that to a degree because status, how is everybody going to look at us? We have to carry ourselves a certain kind of way. You know what I mean? And that's just in my experience. That's in my experience, where I've had white friends that'll come to me like, I wish I could say that. They feel it. They want to say it, but they won't say it because it's frowned upon in their community. Now, going back to, is it, you know, to the children, it's like, that wind is serious. Going back to the children, it's like, they don't have a choice for the most part. Our parents over here, they work in 2-3 jobs. Yeah. They got bigger fish to fry, rent probably behind, probably wearing, the office probably called them Section 8, ain't send your payment in this month. All them things. It's like, what we get told, do what you want, but you ain't gonna do it here. And we get the boot. In most cases. My case, I was allowed to stay home. I go back to my mom's whenever I want, but that's not always the reality in Black communities. So, to answer your question, it is a trend. I feel like a lot of Black women do it to feel loved. I know I did. I got pregnant on purpose. I told my daughter, and I still ended up a single mom. I told my daughters that I need to give myself a reason to live. So I want to have a baby. I'm not going to stereotype and say no white woman experiences that, but definitely not to the magnitude of what Black women do.
Yeah. Okay.
No. I think motherhood should be a choice. Literally simple as that. If you don't want them, don't have them. If you don't want that for your life, you shouldn't have to give that. And don't be with somebody who would pressure you to do it. And I also think and I mean, maybe this is just my opinion, I just believe that there's so much more that a woman has to think about with pregnancy than a man does. Point blank, period. It falls on the mom every time. Where we have the bodies to do it, it ruins your body for life, at least in my experiences with women that I've talked to about pregnancy. They, in my experiences with the women in my life, they've always had to do more for the children while working. They just have different expectations. Women are judged. I've seen it in my own family. Why is she out when she has a kid? Why is she doing this when she has a kid? When dad's not there? Nobody cares about what dad's doing, though. There's just a lot that women have to uphold in motherhood that dads or just men don't have to, I think, in my experience. And also, if you want somebody to have a kid, how about you stay with the mom and provide for your kid? Because there's also that, too. If you think we have an obligation to be a mom, you have an obligation to stay and be a dad. Let's talk about that.
Clock that, see.
So, yeah, and also body autonomy. I'm pro-choice. So that also gives you my answer right there. If you don't want that kid, don't have it. You don't need a reason to have an abortion. It is your life, your business. I don't care. If you are like, you know what? I'm not ready to be a mom. Do what you want to do with that. And I don't think anybody should have to interfere with that conversation. Maybe if she wants to bring her partner into that, yeah. But it's nobody's obligation to do anything. It's your life. Do what you want with it. Not my fault. Nobody wants to have kids. That's not on women.
Okay.
I agree. I think it shouldn't be this thing that is required for women to have. I've gotten hated on by other women saying, you don't want your own kids? Because at the time, growing up and, in high school, I didn't want my own kids. I was, focused on my career. And then I met someone that, swayed my decision. And I kind of, changed my entire life for them. So I could be a mom and everything. And then I got really into, foster care and stuff like that. So then I was, thinking about fostering kids rather than having my own, because there's so many kids that should deserve a good family, and I can provide that, rather than, why would I bring another kid into the world? Well, there's already a kid or multiple kids that need homes. And so, I would always get hate for, why are you focusing on other kids when you should have your own? You should be able to procreate, all of that stuff. So I do think that it's, a decision that should and can be made, and I don't think it should be a requirement for a woman.
Or also, there's the other side of the argument, too. Why don't you want to be a mom? You should be a mom. You should do this. Women cannot win. We cannot win, whether we're a mom or not, to be real with you. Like, we cannot win. And then you have your kid, you get criticized for the way you raise your kid by people who are not in the house with your kid. Like,
Okay.
there's so much, because when you ask that question, there's so much that you don't have to think about.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like,
So can I ask you another question?
yeah, sure.
Do men owe anything to society? Do men have duties to society? Do men owe anything to society?
I
What
don't
do
know.
you think as a
I'm
man?
Yeah,
I'm
that's
asking
let me ask you.
I'm asking y'all, and I'll reflect
Wait,
back.
yeah,
Give me a
absolutely.
Can I say
Really?
something?
What do men owe society?
Yeah.
I think as humans, we owe everything to society. Like, you should respect others, you should live peacefully, stuff like that. Like, I think as humans, we owe each other stuff. Like, I owe, like, this space to hold for you guys the same. I don't think when it comes down to, like, if we're talking about relationships and stuff like that, at the end of the day, no one owes you anything with a relationship.
See, I feel we diminish as humanity when we start convincing ourselves that because that does not directly affect me in my
Mhm.
life, it's none of my business.
Yeah,
But it is your business.
I agree.
Because if Kate is over there getting her behind whooped by John, and you just sit back and watch, but you don't know that they're raising little Billy at home.
Mm-hmm.
And little Billy is witnessing that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when little Billy grows up because he's seen his dad beat on his mom all his life, now little Billy grows up and he runs into your daughter. So it wasn't your problem then, but it's your problem now because that little Billy is now putting his hands on your child. It hit home for you. If you would have made that your business before and pulled that brother aside and say, bro, come on now, like it's a better way to handle this. I'm not saying go and rumble the bull. No, I'm not saying that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm saying put him in his place.
Yeah.
Like, you got men out here that they boys is deadbeats and they know it. And because that's your boy, you still going to play ball with him and you still going to play the... No, you're a deadbeat.
So hold on.
Deadbeats can't sit with us.
So are there defined roles? Because we didn't answer directly. She did. She
What?
said that the society, everybody owes
men owe
everyone.
society
She said
something?
no. She said that everyone owes everyone. So I'm asking, are the defined roles by gender for what we owe each other, society? Do men
Yes.
owe society something, and do women owe society
Yes.
something? What do men owe society?
Who God intended for you guys to be. Like, when they say protect black women, black men protect black women, you owe that to us. You guys are supposed to be protectors. Like, and vice versa. We're supposed to be caregivers and nurturers. When you see a black man and you could tell whether he's displaying it or not, but you could look in that black man's eyes and say, he's tired. It's okay to pull that man aside and be like, talk to me.
So is it just men that you're nurturing, or is who's getting nurtured?
Whomever. It's like if I see a little kid who is just wandering with no adult, am I going to ignore it because that's not my kid? No, honey, where's your mom? What's your name? What's your mom's name? What kind of clothes does your mom have on? It's my obligation to stop what I'm doing and tend to that child, because that child and their safety is more important than whatever I got going on this side. And if had it been my child out there, I would want a trusting, honest adult to stop and check on my child. So I feel like we owe that.
I'll give you mine, and then you tell me how you feel about it.
Okay.
So, I believe that men's duty in society is protection.
Mm-hmm.
I think that without protection, that society will crumble. And I think women's obligation are children. If women choose not to give children, then there is no society. And there's nothing for men to protect.
Why do you think women aren't having kids, though?
Because I think this generation of women are prioritizing themselves.
What about the women that can't have kids? Are they just like nothing?
No, that doesn't. Something that affects the body that's not her fault. But like you were saying, she can nurture, she can foster children, she can foster relationships, she can help groom the next generation. But that's just like saying a man that can't have kids, is he useless? No, he can still be a mentor for the next generation of men. He can still put himself on the line for society. But we're speaking the majority of men and majority of women can procreate. So
what about the woman that says, I can procreate, I'm perfectly capable, but I just know that I'm just not going to be a fit mother. Some people know that, whether it be because they just don't want to be, like they don't want to they know they don't want to make those sacrifices. I don't want to put a little one before me. Like I'm not done. I want to live.
I think
going
in high school, majority of girls didn't even get to ask that question.
What question?
When I was in high school, the question you just pondered, do I want to be a mother? They just got into a situation where they became a mom.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they made the best of it. So I think there's some things in society that we owe outside of our wants and desires. Right? I want money. I can't go around and just take people's money because I'm 6'2" and I'm bigger than most people that I see. That's not desired from society. I have an obligation that goes against the obligation of society.
See, we're going to have to agree to disagree, because I feel like in today's day and age, just enough women out here having 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 kids to make up for the ones that don't want to have none.
I mean, I graduated high school with somebody walking pregnant.
But I'm saying, but the numbers are across the board in America. The number is down, I guess, across every demographic.
Being a mom is like, it takes a lot from a person. Putting it as a duty, like this is what you're obligated to give society, I feel like that's dangerous, because it'll make a woman feel like, oh, I have to do this, but I don't really want to do this. Now she is half-ass raising this child, not giving it the love and attention that it needs. Or, you know what I mean? I feel like that's dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
That's like playing with fire a little bit.
So do you think women today are dealing with more than any aspect of any time period previous to them?
Say it again?
Do you think women today are dealing with more than the previous generations before them? Absolutely.
Look at what's in front of us. Like when I was a little girl, there was no social media. There was no, all this. You got middle school and high schoolers designer down. I would hate to be in high school in this day and age, because I wouldn't be able to keep up.
So I'm gonna ask you a question about like slavery. You think it's harder to be a mother during slavery or a mother in 2025? Or a mother in the 1800s, or a mother in the 1700s?
I don't feel like it's a comparison. I think that mothers then were battling, and mothers today are battling. We just battling different beasts.
Can I also say something too about that? Like historically, I feel like women didn't have a lot of rights. They couldn't work. That like all they really could do was be at home and be submissive to their husband. So what are you doing? You're having kids, right? And I feel like now women have that choice to, like, if you want to work, if you want to have a career, do it. If you want to be single, do it. Date whoever you want. Like, I feel like we're offered more choices. And so I think that's why it should just be a choice if you want a kid or not. Because if you like the life that you live without a kid, what is so wrong with that?
I'm not saying anything's wrong. I was just pondering. I was just asking.
But it's like, if I don't want a kid, but it's my obligation. Like, you know what that sounds like? That sounds like what Handmaid's Tale.
So,
like, have you ever heard of that show?
Yeah. But I also think
where fertile women had to have babies.
Yeah,
I've seen the show, but
and then couldn't even mother their child because it was given to another woman.
How do you feel then on the opposite for men?
How do I feel? I don't.
No, but I'm saying when it's men's obligation. So when like the Titanic or any tragedy happens and men have to stay inside the tragedy and women and kids get to leave while the men die, how do we feel about that?
I don't care if you're go on the boat yourself. Like, you don't have to fend for me. No. Like, whatever.
So hold on.
You sounds like you're making that choice for yourself.
So you all right? So
and you're complaining about the choice.
Let's use hold on. Let's use an island, right?
Okay, here we go.
There's an island, and one boat comes, and there's only a certain amount of seats, and the men are stronger, faster of the two, and they say, you know what, we're just gonna leave y'all behind. You'd be okay with that?
No, and I don't think you'd be okay with that if it was a vote of all women.
I'm going off of what you just said. You said, I don't care. It sounds like you have an obligation. You have a choice that you're allowing that. So I'm saying as the men inside that society that says, okay, we're going to leave the women here. And we're going to go to another place.
Men do that every day.
You'd be okay. Men don't.
Men be leaving all the time.
It's just not a boat.
Hold on. So I'm here. All right. So All right, so we'll wrap up with this. I just real quick. I just want to get your thoughts. What is y'all thoughts on single moms?
Are you guys moms?
No.
Okay.
So what are you're a mom, right?
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on single moms?
This is not fair, and this is not how it's supposed to be. Now, I bite the bullet because I understand, like I said, for me personally, it wasn't a mistake. It was something I consciously did. And I did it when I was in a dark space, mentally unstable. I'm stable now. So now I realize, like, oh, I was selfish in my decision. Because being a single mom is hard. It's like I have to explain to my daughter's teacher sometimes, like, listen, sorry, the homework packet is not all the way done. I thought she finished it. I checked, maybe I glanced at it or something, but what people don't know is that I didn't just neglect my daughter's homework. It's not that I tell my daughter every day, change your uniform, get on your homework. I tell her that every day, but I got dinner burning on the stove. I'm probably grooming it because I work from home. I'm a dog groomer. I probably got dogs coming in still. Like, so it's like you're one person. This job as a parent was never intended for one person. Where that's where I personally want to be a stay-at-home mom with my little grooming salon in my backyard. I want to be able to pick and choose because I love what I do. It's not work to me, but I want to be able to pick and choose when I work. Because I want to be in a relationship and have a family dynamic where my husband goes out, because I figure if he could take care of the bills, and I don't mean 50, 70, all of them, I can properly run my household. But no one person can do all of that. No one person can go work 40 plus hours, pay rent, electric, water, car note, car insurance. No one person could pay all those things and still give their children and their household their undivided attention. Something is going to get left behind. Something's going to get neglected. And a lot of times it's our kids.
So that's why you see kids with single parent households with so many mental health.
Oh, absolutely. And I beat myself up about it all the time. I feel like I neglect my daughter's needs. I love my daughter to death. I will go to war for my daughter, but I know she has to eat. And I got to keep this roof over our head. There's necessities that need to be met. So when you're trying to show me, oh, mommy, look what I just colored, it's like, not right now. I will talk about it in a second. And she gets dismissed a lot. Not because I don't want to give my daughter that attention. Not because I don't want to, give her that undivided attention. It's either I'm busy in that moment for something that has to get done, or I'm drained, I'm tired, I'm mentally burnt out. And I don't even have the capacity to deal with myself, let alone a kid.
I definitely appreciate you sharing that point. I think a lot of women probably can testify to that sentiment and resonate with it. So closing out, you guys can ask one question, either me and Aunt, and we'll ask it, and then we'll close out.
Y'all want to go first?
I don't know.
If you don't have a question, that's okay.
Yeah, if you don't have one, that's fine too.
Yeah, but I want to have one.
Who's to blame for single parent households?
The one that walked out?
That's a deep question.
That's a whole.
That's a multi.
I was about to say.
Tune in for next time.
It's a lot to say there.
That's a multifaceted question.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Literally everybody. I think everybody can hold each other accountable in them spaces, because how many people do it take to make a baby?
Yeah.
So then there go, right? And then you also got to take into consideration the lack of or support system that you do have.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because there's no guideline or no manual to being a mother or father. But the generations prior to us did it, whether good or bad. We can learn either from people from a distance or up close. And I think that's our responsibility as a family, a village, to raise a kid. If not, the kid will burn it down.
I will say both, but I'm going to lean, like there's a pie, I'm going to do 60-40, and I'm going to do 60-40 women. Reason being is the reason why, which you stated.
Who's the 60?
60 is women, 40 is the men. And the reason why I say that is because women, and you'll agree once you roll your eyes.
Maddie crazy.
Hold on, Maddie, because
Yeah,
you're gonna.
Sorry, I have loud
Hold on,
opinions.
let me finish the point, and then you tell me if you
Because I
disagree.
knew you were going to say that.
Hold on,
All right.
That's why I
Let
asked
him
the question.
finish.
Let
Let
me
him finish because
let me
I'm
finish
ready
the
to.
No, I want to hear what you have to say.
And then you can tell me if you disagree. Women have to bear the brunt of it. So if you have to bear the brunt of the responsibility, that man can lie. That man can tell you a whole fable. I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna love you. I'm gonna love that child. I'm gonna be here, and he can dip.
And it's the woman's fault
No,
for believing what
you're
he's
not.
saying.
You're not listening to me. You're hearing what you want to hear.
I know
That
it
man
sound like
can sell
Hogan.
you. That man can sell you a fable. He can sell you a dream,
Mhm.
right? But you can't leave that dream. You're the one that's pregnant. So if you have that responsibility and you're the one that bears the child, it's going to be on you, and it's going to lean more on you for that responsibility, because you have to bear the child. So the person that has the object, that is the person that bears the object, has to have the most responsibility. If I own a building, right, and I have employees, who's going to be if something goes wrong with the building, yes, I can be mad at you, I can fire you, but if something goes wrong with the building, it's my building. They're going to come for me. So that's where I would say you in totality, I agree in a perfect world, then yes, it would be 50-50. But men don't bear the child. So it's on the woman, in my opinion, to make sure she is trying to vet this person as much as possible. And then one of the things I can say, because I deal with it, is one of my past jobs I worked, women don't do a very good job of vetting the men that they allow to sleep with them and get them pregnant. They really don't. They don't ask the right questions. They don't see the right information. They don't do the right family background checking. So there's a lot.
Are y'all heart racing?
Yes,
Because mine is
because
racing.
you have the responsibility.
We're obligated. It's our duty to this world to bear children, and then we're also responsible for the lies that men tell before we bear these children, and then when they leave, it's our fault.
It's a woman's because you misconstrued
I'm
a
really
lot of
trying
that.
to listen to
It's
you.
the women's. Hold on, so I'll give it to you in full, and you can debate it. It's a woman's.
No, we can't debate it.
It's a
We
woman's.
gotta wrap up.
It's a woman's job, and we close on this. It's a woman's job. It's a duty to life for life. But it's also a woman's job to also vet the person that she's with. Yes, because this is a lifelong, at the end of the day, it's 18 years.
What was you saying?
That's
Just work.
More
More work.
Yes,
a lot of work.
if you're
Work.
making an 18-year commitment, it is going to be work.
So where does responsibility for the men come in?
Also, what do you mean 18-year responsibility?
At the very
No, it's not, because you never stop being a parent.
That's what I was just about to
but that's
say.
what I'm saying. At the bare minimum, first of all, you don't stop being a parent, but financially you can stop being a parent. So at the bare minimum, it's 18 years that you're making this investment. That's what I'm saying. No, you should be a lifelong parent, but I'm saying at the bare minimum, you're making an 18-year investment. So if I'm going to make sure, if I'm with someone, I'm going to make sure that this is a person that is stable mentally. Have you seen what stable looks like? So I'm having a child with someone. Do I even know what stable looks like?
Do you agree with this? From another man's.
I have pushback, a lot of pushback. But I can't give it.
Because time's up, right?
Time is up.
So real quick, from all three of y'all, if y'all look into that main camera, what friendly advice do you have based on this conversation on judgment? What friendly advice can you give to the
I have
Don't
advice. It's not
whisper it.
friendly, though.
Say it with your chest.
Yeah. What friendly advice? Look into that main camera. What friendly advice do you have based on judgment in society, and what do you want to convey?
Go ahead, Maddie. I can feel it.
My advice isn't friendly,
Go ahead.
but women, do what you want. Be by yourself. Because this whole conversation...
Whoa, I was not expecting
Just
it.
know...
She's not talking about her boyfriend though. Her
Listen to this
boyfriend.
conversation. My man is not involved. in
All
this.
right. Yeah.
Listen to this conversation. Take what resonates with you about what kind of partner you want in your life, and take what doesn't, and make conscious decisions about whomever you're with, so they don't hit you with some misinformation. Okay, that's what I gotta say.
Thank you, Maddie.
And do your background check on your partner, apparently, like what Darrell said.
Anybody
Go
else?
get them fingerprinted.
Yo.
They need to come up with something where you could take a test and like you could see how many kids a man got. You know what I'm saying? Like, how many kids did you bear? Because they be lying or they don't be knowing. I've had men tell me about how many kids you got. 2 that I know of. So yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
and that's
just
that
saying.
honest. That's that honest and transparency stuff that we were talking about earlier too.
Yeah.
Be honest. That's another thing I gotta say.
all right. So anybody else?
And
friendly
don't.
advice.
I would say, don't ever feel obligated.
Mm-hmm.
Like he said.
Says the stay-at-home wannabe mom.
Don't. Yeah, but I don't feel obligated to be that. If
No,
I want to
no, I'm
go
saying
into
that-
corporate America, and I feel like I could do that too. But that's what I want. I don't feel like obligation leads to disappointment and failure. Because when you're doing something because you feel like you're obligated to do it, you're not doing it from your heart. You're not doing it is because that's what you want to do. So you're never going to put your all into that specific task or that specific project because your heart was never in it to begin with. So follow your gut instinct, consult with God first before everything, and let him be your ultimate decision maker. But do not get to a point where you can quiet down the external voices, because at the end of the day, you have to live with every decision you make. Nobody else.
That's good.
What about you, Anita?
I think just like loving yourself and loving others. I think we spoke about how that there's not a lot of advocacy for people, and just being able to have conflict but also have love at the same time.
Okay. Well, that is another episode of Our Friendly Advice. We thank y'all for being here. Please like, subscribe, and comment. A lot of great things was being said here. A lot of relevant conversation. So y'all continue to lock in with us. We continue to build with y'all. Y'all enjoy your day. What's up, y'all? If y'all like with this conversation that we've been having, the inner circle, man, first of all, if you want to be a guest, feel free to hit us up, man. We're going to look into your credentials, see who you are. If you fit the criteria, then feel free to sit down on this couch right here, the hot seat. And another thing, like, subscribe, and lock in with us on all social media platforms, Our Friendly Advice. And to visit our website is ourfriendlyadvice.net. You can book us there. Y'all enjoy the rest of your day.